They're calling it the flour bag massacre. CNN reporting this morning 104 people killed. Al Jazeera reporting over 100 killed and about 750 wounded. Kudznin reporting at least 150 hungry citizens killed and thousands others wounded. 150 killed. One person living in Gaza reports that hundreds of thousands of people were trying to get to the aid trucks when they were fired upon. This is an image from Israel itself. You can see the site right here. They're aiming a weapon at these people. The video of this looks like ants swarming. They're gathering around a food truck, starving and desperate to get bags of flour. From yesterday, Dr. Abu Salama, I hope my cousins who just left home in Jabalia refugee camp in search for flour return safe with a bag on their back. Our call ended a few minutes ago and felt like goodbye. They asked me to pray for them. And then from 2:30 this morning, my cousins just returned, sadly with no flour. They described to me horrific scenes. They saw tanks firing at hundreds of thousands of hungry people. Mothers are waiting in the streets in panic that their children were martyrs for bread. Unlike my cousins, their sons didn't return. CNN reporting Israel Defense Forces opened fire as hungry Palestinian civilians were gathering around food aid trucks. Civilians were gathered around trucks in hopes to get food when Israeli tanks and drones started shooting at people. An Israeli official told CNN IDF troops did use live fire on people surrounding aid trucks. They're using the self-defense again. The death toll and number of injured is expected to increase as many bodies and people are still out on the street, with ambulances struggling to reach those in need because of rubble. This was the first major delivery of aid to northern Gaza in a month. Israeli snipers continue to target everyone approaching the victims in some locations. The director of Kamal Idwan Hospital told Al Jazeera that the victims were directly targeted in the upper part of the body, indicating that the intention was to kill. Al Jazeera correspondents report that a number of bodies at Al Nablusi roundabout cannot be counted due to the intense Israeli bombardment in the area. Israeli bulldozers raised several bodies of Palestinians who were killed at Al Nablusi roundabout while waiting food aid trucks in northern Gaza. This translation: I went to get flour. While I was walking, a young man pulled my leg. He was crying and told me, I'm injured. His leg was almost severed. If I die, please take this flour bag to my 5 daughters. They haven't eaten for a whole week. Don't leave me here. Bury me where they are. Reporting from the scene, Al Jazeera's Ismail Al Ghul said that after opening fire, Israeli tanks advanced and ran over many of the dead and injured bodies. It is a massacre, on top of the starvation threatening citizens in Gaza. This comes after a week of showboaty airdrops in the ocean, at least one of which resulted in Israeli forces bombing and killing children trying to swim to retrieve aid boxes dropped into the ocean. This comes after a week of people dying of starvation, especially children and newborns. This comes after months of turning to eating hay and animal feed, getting sick from animal feed. I've seen videos of children scouring landfills for any kind of food they could eat. People have taken to eating donkeys. People are dying of starvation, and apparently that's not fast enough for Israel. So they give them aid trucks for the first time in months, and then they snipe them and run over their bodies. And if that weren't horrible enough, one of several Israeli Telegram channels dedicated to rejoicing over Palestinian death, first footage of the Blessed Massacre. You can see clearly they're fighting for their lives, for survival. Cannibalism is on the way. We must starve them until the long-awaited cannibalism. Zionists are inhuman monsters, and Israel continues to act with impunity. It's not enough to bomb every building in Palestine. It's not enough to block them from mosques during Ramadan. It's not enough to displace millions of people from their homes. It's not enough to starve them. You have to massacre them while they try to get flour to make bread for their starving families. And then rejoice and hope that they start cannibalizing each other. Gazans are calling it the flour bag massacre. Let that sink in. Let it stew in your soul. Let it enrage you. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.